Good morning. Good morning. It is Stacy, and we are loving my veteran. And this is walking in my shoes this morning. I'm on time, home, comfortable, where I'm supposed to be. Just want to give everybody a minute to get on before we get too started. Let me get the important stuff out of the way. Um, I'm not a paid counselor. We're not paid professionals. If you need professional help, please reach out and get it. And anything we advice and all we put out here is opinions, not necessarily fact. I mean, it is. We use as many facts as we can, but it is definitely opinions. Um, for whatever reason, it is not letting me see the comments, which is driving me crazy. So let me see if I can get it to that point where I can see the comments that are popping up everywhere because we have a lot and they're great. All right. So anyway, let me get to where I can read comments because this is going to drive me crazy. Sorry, y'all. It's one of those days today. I don't know what I've done in settings, but I've done something in my settings that have done messed up the comments part. Um, so give me just a second. Bear with me. You know, technology is always not the best. So today we are going to talk about pills. Pills everywhere. It tends to be something that we do a lot of, and I really wanted to talk about the pills comment because I just think that we tend to think of world as being a quick fix, and it's not a quick fix at all. Oh, good. Now I can see everybody. Um, I can see the comments anyway. I'm going to put them over here where I can see the comments. We're going to talk about pills. They come in all various sizes, shapes, forms, colors. We have them. So good morning, everybody who I missed. And we're given them. And also often when you know I read all the groups and I'm in a lot of groups, and so when we do this, a lot of times it is my veteran won't go get a pill. My veteran won't get a pill. My veteran needs to go get medicine. My veteran needs to go do this. My veteran needs to be on this drug. My veteran needs to be on that. So let's talk about the pills and the pill cycle. I'm not going to be specific into my, everybody has their own diagnosis, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm just going to give you a little background on the pills and the pill cycle. So here we are. We have this veteran, and he has PTSD, and so he goes to the VA for help. He's having nightmares. He's having flashbacks. He's depressed. We encourage them to go get help. So they go to the VA and they get a pill. Usually not one, but they get a pill. The pill is going to help with their PTSD. Now, remember, we're talking about a veteran who already feels defeated at some point, okay? So we already have that going on in their life, and we're going to give them a pill because they're broken and they need to be fixed. So what do we do with that? We give them a pill. Now, there are only two pills, two medications that are approved by the FDA to treat PTSD. So the next thing we see coming into their medical records is not only do they have a pill for the PTSD, but now they have depression. So they're going to treat them for depression on top of this. So PTSD pills, we get. Now we're getting depression pills. Well, what's happening? So our veteran comes home, takes the pills, and like almost all psychotic or psychiatric medications, you will see a result, an improved result within a few days, and they will go through a period that they feel better. That is true with almost all of them. The therapeutic effect of almost all of these medications is 4 weeks. That's what they're designed for. A lot of them are designed for 4 weeks. So now we have this veteran who has been staring off into space. He's depressed. He's in a place. We want the quick fix. We don't want the explosions. Everybody wants the pill. We go, we take our medication, and we sit there. And so he sits there. Now he's not a functioning part of our house anymore. Now we have this depression cycle going on. So what are we doing now? We're going to go back. We're going to go back and we're going to say, look, I'm depressed. My wife has told me over and over again, I'm depressed. Everybody says I'm depressed. They all say I'm angry. They say this, they say that. I'm not feeling any better. I need something else. So what are we doing at this point? Now, where are we? We're back to taking new pills. We're giving them another pill. And with that other pill, because we're trying to go by FDA guidelines, now we're getting a new diagnosis. So now we might add schizophrenia into the mix. Even though they're not schizophrenic, even though they're not bipolar, we may now add this to the mix. Because there's times that they're happy, there's times that they're sad, there's times that they function well, there's times that they don't. And rather than just address the issue, that it is PTSD and they need to fix the problem, right? They need to address the problem, the root of the problem. We're giving them another pill, and now we have diagnosed them with one other thing, bipolar. So here's our veteran. Now, just put yourself in their shoes, in anybody's shoes. You know, I go through it myself on a daily basis. So put yourself in anybody's shoes, okay? So here they have this situation. They already know they're having a hard time. They have an injury from war that nobody really wants to address as an injury. So they finally go and get help and admit that they need something. And sometimes it's because of our encouragement, which we do want them to get help. And so we go and we encourage them to go get help. And so here comes a new pill. Good morning, Nakia. Here comes a new pill. So now we have this, and not only this, now we have this medical record that says patient has PTSD, patient is suffering from depression, patient is suffering from bipolar, patient is suffering from schizophrenia, patient has attention deficit issues, patient has anger issues. So what have we done? You've taken this single patient that has PTSD and is already fighting that battle, and you now, I'm not talking about you as an individual, but I'm talking about we as a society, we now are giving them pills to make them become a zombie, and with those pills, so that we are prescribing correctly, we are adding diagnoses that fit the mark. Because remember, and you're going to learn this Thursday, not this, a week from tonight, when we watch Medicating Normal. And if you are not watching it, if you have not signed up for it, it is there. It is worth the $10. But when we do this, you're going to find that this has become the norm and not addressing the root cause. And so what have we done? Because there's no regulations that say if you have this, 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 and this, you have PTSD. Do you realize there are 7 symptoms of PTSD? And if you have 2 or more for more than 2 months, you can be diagnosed with PTSD. Well, these symptoms are vague. Same thing happens in bipolar. Same thing happens in schizophrenia. Do they have a fear? Is there a fear? Do they live in fear that somebody may harm them? Absolutely. Our veterans live in that fear because they've seen it and they've experienced it, so it's a real fear. It is not a psychological fear. So now we're telling them, oh, you have schizophrenia, so here's your next drug. And the cycle keeps continuing. So when your veteran goes on e-benefits or wherever they're going to look at their medical record, and now all of a sudden they see this list of diagnoses that are this long, where do you think it puts the depression? Where's that depression in their mind at this point? What have you done? Not you, but what have we done as a society? We have taken this situation and we have made it worse because we're prescribing. And now we have side effects. So you're here taking a medication that's going to prevent your suicidal ideations. The side effect of the drug is suicidal ideations. So what do we do again as society? Well, I'm still feeling suicidal. Okay, so let's up the drug. The same drug that was causing suicidal ideations as a side effect, right? Suicidal ideations as a side effect, we have now doubled that drug. Okay? We have now doubled this drug and we've increased it. So, where do you think, if the side effect was suicidal thoughts, where do you think we've taken it when we've doubled the dosage? We've gone from suicidal thoughts that they had because of, right? We've done that and we've gone on. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Go on everywhere and check. You can use My Health Vet, you can use whatever, pull their med list off, but I am telling you, when you want to know, you got to read through some of the technical stuff, just skim through the technical stuff and get to the side effects, go to the PDR. That's the drug Bible that the medical field uses. It tells you every side effect. You realize that there are, when you get your medication, they give you a little pamphlet, this is what to expect, right? And that's for us, the consumer. There's also, when you go to the PDR, there is also the prescriber list. Some of this medication is only prescribed for short-term effects, and we're on it for years. It's insane. I'm going to go back, and Michelle and Damon have let us share their story, so I'm going to go back to this. So Michelle and Damon, he had a situation last year. He went, and Michelle told them from day one, I think it's his medication. I think it's his medication. I think it's his medication. There is email after email after email after email after email. It's his medication. So when he ended up in the hospital this last time, she requested serum blood levels. Where is this drug? How often are we given a medication that we don't go back in and have serum levels drawn to see if it is working? Because it is a chemical. In case you're interested, there is no magical little powder in that stuff. It is a chemical, and it is designed to react a certain way with your body, and so you get serum levels. So Michelle fought for serum levels and realized that half of them weren't working. They weren't even at therapeutic levels, and the rest of them were above therapeutic levels. So she had had enough. Damon literally had sat on the couch and checked out. It wasn't that Damon intentionally checked out. It was the medication he was given. Okay, it was the medication he was given that caused him to check out. So she went back to the psychiatrist and said, we're going to start titrating this back again. She cut it in half yet again. And the same man who she was in love with and has been in love with and fought for everything, who became a zombie and sat on the couch, they went day before yesterday to the mountains, had pie, and had an incredible day. And they couldn't have done it had she not have cut the medication back in half, because it was the medication. The medication that's supposed to help him sleep at night. You know, when you take too much of it, you stay wide awake. He's now sleeping. This is what we miss. I wasn't on yesterday. I am sorry. I had to go have blood drawn. I saw my doctor 2 weeks ago, and they're going to do a medication change. They took 18 vials of blood yesterday. So my doctor could figure out my medication changes before we changed anything. Are our veterans getting the blood work drawn to correlate with the changes? Absolutely not. So then now we don't understand why nothing is working, and we're frustrated, and we go through this over and over and over again. And the feeling of worthlessness and the feeling of helplessness that they have, and the feeling of failure, and the feeling that they don't add up, and the feeling that they're going to fail us. We don't get where that comes from. We have poured chemicals into their heads. We have poured chemicals into their bodies. We have given them a medical record that says they're a failure. And we don't understand. Now, I'm not saying that some medication is not warranted or needed. But what I'm saying is the quick fix is here. To have a pill. Have this pill. This pill will fix you. No, if you don't address the root of the problem, no pill will ever fix you. It doesn't work that way. This is not how it works. If you're in renal failure and you're not getting fluid out of your body, okay, you don't just start taking Lasix to pull the fluid off. It's not the way it works. Yeah. Are the veterans going because they make it an open appointment? It's hard to get them. I just, yeah, and we encourage them to go, and we should encourage them to go. We should encourage them to go get help. We should encourage counseling. We should encourage a lot of things. But we should also have to be their advocate. We have to understand that one pill leads to the next pill that leads to the next pill that treats the side effect of the side effect of the side effect of the side effect. And what do we have? We have a zombie who doesn't feel worthy, that we can't understand why they've become a zombie. And the reason they've become a zombie and disengaged is all the chemicals that are in their body. Do you realize that when you go in and you look at therapeutic levels and you understand that most of these medications are prescribed based on milligrams per kilogram, and you're giving the same thing to a 180-pound guy that you're giving to a 300-pound guy? And just a little medical tip for you, any medication that's prescribed milligrams per kilogram, when you need to find out the kilogram of a human being, take their weight and divide it by 2.2, or you can cut it in half basically, and that will give you their kilograms. That is a required skill when you're learning about medication. So if your veteran weighs 200 pounds, basically he weighs 100 kilograms. So make sure you know that. Because now when you're looking at the prescribed levels, it's not some theory you don't get. Because you have to know that. Nobody teaches us that because we have trust, or we're supposed to have trust in the medical field. They went to college. They went to medical school. They did an internship. They did a residency. They have that little letters MD behind their name. So we should trust them because they are better educated than we are. And they may have gone to college and become educated all you want. But who knows your veteran better than you? I can assure you, with all of Richard's medical problems, Nakia doesn't just go into that hospital and let them hand her a bag of new medications and say, here, try these. I can assure you, on the medical side, Nakia does not just walk in and say, here, take these. She wants to know what every single thing is for. She wants to know exactly how it's going to work. She wants to know every single side effect before they ever put it into Richard's body. I can promise you that's what happened. And you're right, Sarah. You have to find this balance between meds and therapy and healthy relationships. It all comes together. But the missing link in so much of this, and I've had an epiphany, a see Jesus moment, if you will, in my life after yesterday, and I have decided that God has given me a gift, and my gift is my mouth. Okay, I used to get sad faces on my report card because I talked too much. Well, now I'm going back to it's a gift. God gave it to me. It just took a little while for the rest of the world to accept this is my gift. I'm going to continue to speak out on the nonsense and the BS that goes on because my veteran deserves it. Because your veterans deserve it. Because we deserve it. The missing link in this entire system is the caregiver spouse link. We are not educated. They don't think we matter. We do matter. And then our veteran doesn't feel that way. Remember, we were not issued with our veteran when they joined the military. Okay, so that's what happened, and so that's the mindset that they can do it alone. They can't do it alone. They are part of our family. They are part of our heart. They are part of our relationships, and they will never walk this journey alone. And when you start to buy into that plan, and you buy into the fact that they're not doing it alone and you are their advocate, and this is going to be a rough journey, but it's going to be a rewarding journey at the end of the day, that's when things will change. When the first time in our veterans' lives, and it may not be the first time, but the most consistent point in our veterans' lives when they feel like they're not worthy is that we reassure them that we are not going anywhere. We are their support. We are their advocate, and they are no longer walking this journey alone. And it's going to take time to convince them of that. And we're going to become educated in what we have to do. When they learn that and they realize that they had their battle buddies in war and we are now their battle buddies in life, and they can trust us with their lives in the real world, you will see a change in your relationship. You will see that change in their medications. You will see that they are more willing to go get help. You will see that we will become their advocates and we are their partners. That, that is where it changes. You don't rely on the professionals all the time. Yes, they're professionals. Absolutely. And they understand when they treat, you got to realize, y'all, when we go to a doctor, a psychologist, a therapist, a professional, they are taught to treat the standard. The standard. That's where they teach. They're taught to treat the standard. They're taught this is what this person has. They're not taught to treat the variables. They're not taught because they can't. There's no way you can take every variable and treat every variable. I mean, you can't do that. Look at me specifically. I have a bleeding disorder that causes me to bleed. So you can't give me, the typical answer would be, oh, give her medication to help her clot. Well, on top of that, I have a clotting disorder that causes me to get fibro clots in my blood. So now you can't give me a clot stuff to help me clot because I already have that. That's what's whacked up. But then the typical treatment for that is a blood thinner. Well, you can't give me a blood thinner if I already bleed. They don't treat that. A regular doctor would say, oh, this level is here, take this. Oh, and now you need a clot, so here, take this. And next thing I know, I'm taking a drug to help me bleed and not cause clots, and I'm taking a drug to cause clots because I bleed. Well, what have I done? I've just taken two drugs that have washed each other out, and they are worthless in that concept. But I am blessed to have a doctor who believes further, and my education, and Carl being my advocate says, hold on. And what happens now? We are getting the right treatment. Yeah, and Nikia's right. When you don't when you become complacent as the wife or the caregiver, and you become complacent, it is easy for them to diagnose and do whatever they want. Right? There's no accountability. There's no challenge. There's no making them think off of the norm. Right? And so this is what happens. We do this. We live in a world where here's the pill, here's the quick fix, here's the answer. It's one size fits all. Let's stamp your box and move on. And if we're not getting the required outcome, if we're not getting the outcome that we want, we're going to change the diagnosis up. We're not just going to diagnose you with PTSD. We're going to diagnose you with bipolar, with schizophrenia, with obsessive compulsive disorder, with all the other things, so we can now prescribe something new so that the outcome becomes the desired outcome, which is numb. That's not an outcome. We are literally killing them. They are like walking zombies. They have no feeling. They don't have that. Because we're allowing that. We as a society are allowing that to happen. We have to stop. We have to put in the work. It's not easy. Nobody ever said marriage or relationships were easy. Nobody said that. If it was easy, there would be no divorce. If it was easy, there would be no conflict. If it was easy, we'd all be living like freaking Cinderella nightmare fantasies. And we're not. There are nightmares that come along with that. You know, some of the best fairy tales ever were scary as crap. Hansel and Gretel were horrifically. They were written by the Brothers Grimm. For God's sakes, what do you think happens in the fairy tales? That's the reality. Sorry, I have to have some more coffee. So what I'm saying to y'all is this. We have to be able. She's right. The symptomatic systems disappear once you get all of that medication out of your system. Once you get all of that crap out of your system. Once you start learning there are alternatives to a lot of things. You're treating side effects of medications with side effects, not getting the desired results, not getting the desired outcome. And so what happens? We give you more. Then you wonder where the 22 a day come from. You look at my friend Ann, whose child decided not, they weren't taking it, so drinking became the way he coped with it, the way he coped with his PTSD. And you know, this is the really screwed up part, because suicides only count on that 22 a day suicides are suicides they can find. So that is self-harm, like shooting yourself, hanging yourself, stabbing yourself, that, or overdosing. Okay, that's it. In Ann's situation, he had been drinking, and that was the way he numbed himself, and he had seizures from the alcohol because he numbed himself with it, and he had seizures from the alcohol, but he's not counted in the 22 a day because that's a totally different thing. So we have yet to address the cores of where our problems lie. We are not addressing the root of the problem. We are putting a Band-Aid on it and saying, here's the quick fix heal, and if this isn't working, we'll add another Band-Aid. Because, you know, in the EMS world, and I'm going to tell you, and our guys learned this in combat, they all learned it. When you have a wound, even if it's an arterial bleed or a severe bleed, you place a bandage over that wound. All right, if it soaks through that bandage, you don't pull the old one off. You put more bandages on, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it till eventually you don't see the blood. Well, then when they get to the hospital and to the doctors and to definitive care, they pull all that off, and that wound is still gaping. The wound didn't go away. We didn't heal the wound. All we did was mask it. So when you put that first bandage on and the blood is still seeping out around your fingers and around the bandage, that still looks gross and it still looks like we're not healing it. So we add the next layer of gauze. And we add the next layer and the next layer and the next layer till we no longer see the bleeding. And what happens? We don't acknowledge the wound. It happens every day. It happens in the medical field when we do this every day. It happens in our lives every day. It's happening to our veterans every day. It's happening to society every day. We're going to give you a new pill because that pill will be the gauze that goes on the initial wound. And if that one doesn't work, we're going to add more and more and more until we no longer see the wound. It's not gushing blood, but the wound is still there. And we have yet to heal that wound. It is a big one. Yeah, okay, that's right. A big example is most doctors' orders, once a patient is admitted in a hospital setting, has a standard order for everything. You do. You do. I know that when Damon was in the last time, Michelle said, I need this, this, and this done. And they did a bunch of it, and then they discharged him and said, oh, we'll follow up. And the follow-up never happened, and the rest of the test didn't get done. And so what happens is he's still coming home with the same problems until she goes back in again and says, this is not working. I still believe it's this, and we're cutting this back again. This is what we need to do. And they finally say, okay. And now, lo and behold, we have progress. We have progress because we live in a world where pain is not okay. Pain is normal, but we live in a world where pain is not okay. So we prescribe and prescribe and prescribe and prescribe and prescribe to try to get a desired outcome. We give medication to try to get a desired outcome. It may not treat the problem. What we're doing is manipulating the outcome by medication. That's what we're doing as society. That's become the norm. We live in a society where nobody believes that it takes work to get an objective done. We don't believe that anymore. We don't believe that we live in a society where you don't have to put in the work. It will just come to you like the miraculous stimulus checks that fall out of the sky. We're not working for those checks. And don't get me wrong, y'all know my financial situation. I'm not saying I don't need them. They're great. But we're dropping miraculous things like and what are we backing them up with? What are we backing up this easy life we live with? Oh, here's a drug. We don't have to treat it. We don't have to deal with it. We don't have to go further into this. We don't have to put in the work. You don't have to face your fears. You don't have to address your demons. You don't have to learn how to cope. Here's a new drug. We're going to give it to you. It's the same thing like dropping stimulus checks and having that woman, I don't even remember who it was, say, how are we going to back it up? And she says, we're going to print more money. Well, by God, if they can print more money, I think I can print more money, and I should be allowed to do that. I got a printer over here. But this is the mentality that we are using. This is the mentality that we have. The mentality is quick fix the problem, don't put in the work, and let's all be rewarded. And I'm sorry, I have a problem with some of this stuff. Hang on. Carl didn't shut the door. Now I got the dog whining. Sorry. This is the mentality that we use. The mentality is quick fix, let's go, move on, because we don't have to put in the work. And then we don't understand why we're not fixing the root of the problem, and why things don't change, because we have yet to address the root of this problem. I'm on good with raising minimum wage to $15 an hour. For God's sakes, let them do $15 an hour worth of work. When you can't hand me a burger that has no onions on it, do you deserve $15? Put in the work. Learn what your burger's supposed to look like. I'm just saying. But that's where we are as a society as a whole. Here you go. This will make you feel better. Let's go forward. We don't think about the long-term consequences. We don't think about what these drugs are doing to our veterans. We don't think about what they're doing to them mentally. We don't think about the organ damage that is being done. There's a whole nother topic. There's a whole nother topic. The organ damage that we are doing. Read the side effects. Prolonged use will damage your liver. Let me tell you from personal experience, you don't want a damaged liver. Prolonged use will cause kidney failure. You don't want kidney failure. That's what we do. We give you drugs. We give you stuff. We give you things, and we don't think about the consequences afterwards. Oh, it causes suicide. Well, today you're feeling better, so it's obviously not going to cause suicide today until you get home. Y'all want to go look at homicides, where people have killed or homicides and then suicides? When you want to go home and look at and do some really interesting research, and this isn't just veteran related, but you go in and you look at where people have shot and killed their whole family and then shot and killed themselves. You know, the one thing that doesn't come out very often, and if you dig, you can find it, is those people were all on psychiatric drugs, almost all of them at one point, or still are. Because the side effect is that. We have a report that came across, I think I shared it the other day, that the VA, the person went into the VA and said, I'm suicidal, and they didn't treat them. They sent them to outpatient care on a delayed plan. And when they called the family to schedule it, they said, you're late. He died 3 days ago. What do we do? What do we do? This is where we're not addressing the root of the problem. This is where we're not addressing the things that have to be dealt with. This is where we as caregivers, family, loved ones, everything have to be able to be their advocate, be their voice, become their battle buddy through this journey. Cause a cows cow. I didn't earn my spurs, but I have earned my PTSD ones. I have earned those. And I will fight for him, with him, beside him, every minute of every day, because you know what? He does it with me. And that's where I'm going to leave y'all today. That and the fact that my gift is my voice and talking too much. And y'all gonna see a lot more of me, because I'm done letting our veterans be run over. I am done listening to the excuses and the BS that comes out. Oh, well, he can't help it. No, 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 no. It is time everybody ponies up. I am sure I'm going to get kicked off of every spouse support group I am in, as of, that is my new challenge. I think I need to go find 6 or 8 more, because my goal this coming month of May is to be kicked out of 5, because I'm going to call people out where they need to be. And I love you, women. I love you for fighting for your veteran, for being their battle buddies through this journey, for learning to love them in a way and a deepness. Y'all, we get mad and we get angry and we get tired, but I assure you, when I have talked to people one on one, we love them deeper than we ever dreamed possible, or we wouldn't be here. That's the love we have. That is the love we have. I know, Nakia, we getting all a little badge of honors. I'm so excited. Nakia and I are on the badge of honor plan. But she's got some in with the administrators where they don't kick her off. I don't have that. They just kick me off. I don't care. It's fine. So let me tell you where we're going forward today. Don't forget, we have Let's Talk tonight. It is always a lot of fun. It is always fabulous and bring real issues. If you've not been before, please join us. It is a massive family. We talk just as honest as we are right now, probably a little more honest because it's not recorded. Nothing on Let's Talk is recorded unless we have a guest, and we only record that portion because we do not want it to be shared. It is our safe place to be there. Your veteran wants to come, we encourage that. A lot of our veterans don't come. Jason, he will play his game and kind of have one ear up, and every now and then you'll get this comment from Jason, and it's fabulous to be able to see that happen. And so we're getting that because those veterans need that same support. They need to know that they are loved and that we understand them and that we are not bashing them. And once we understand, when they understand that we are not bashing them, that we love them and we embrace them, it is phenomenal. Okay, so bring your snacks, bring your bowl, bring whatever you're bring your beer, we don't care, bring your wine, it's all right. Come join us for Let's Talk. You can come in your jammies. You can come in whatever makes you happy. Sometimes Nakia comes in her pink fuzzy bathrobe. It don't matter. We just come, and this is what we do. We love each other. So please join us tonight for Let's Talk. If you're on a different time zone, I assure you it's not an hour long. So you can pop in whenever, because we are usually talking for a while. Carl says I have to take a nap today so I can do Let's Talk like I'm supposed to. Other big issues we have going on, I will push this out there. I'm asking everybody, this is our push this through the weekend. Please, the movie that we are having next Thursday night in place of Let's Talk, $10. It is worth every single dime. And we're going to have a panel afterwards of professionals to talk about medication. And it is not just in the veteran world. It is the misprescribing of psychotic medication in the real world in every occurrence, and one of them happened to an 11-year-old girl. So if you have friends or family, anybody who is taking behavior modifying medication, it is worth every dime, and it is life-saving film. I cannot thank Angie and Dr. V enough for putting this together and having the best of the best to discuss this. And there are absolutely, again, no triggers. It is available to share publicly, at least if you share it off of the Loving My Veteran page. Not the group, but the Loving My Veteran page. Absolutely, positively, the best movie I have watched on medication, and I've watched a ton. They send them to me all the time. Stacy, watch. What do you think? You all know we vet so much of what we share on this page, and we only share stuff that has been vetted. So we don't necessarily do everything, but we vet it, and it is super important that we do. And there was another film that was good, but there were so many triggers, we just weren't going to allow it. It's just not going to happen. This has absolutely no triggers in it. But I will tell you, it will make you angry, and get your tissues because parts of it will make you cry. But it is real, and it is very important that we become educated in this. This is a tool that we have to have in our toolbox moving forward as far as prescribing for our veterans. So anyway, now that I've talked way longer than I should have, I guess I made up for all the times I haven't been talking so much. My voice is back. I am back. We are back as a family. Yes, Nakia, I promise you I will rest because she'll send me a text in a minute that says rest, 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 take care of you. Um, and I will. And tomorrow's topic is when we take a vow in our marriage vows and even in our relationship vows, it is to love and honor in sickness and in health. To love and honor. And that's what we're really going to talk about. And how our veterans love us and how we need to love them and learn that word honor. And you will find that there are moments of sickness and there are moments of in health. And one other thing I'm going to ask real quick, y'all just let me know how you feel. I know Carl's popped on a few of these. He has said he would even do a couple of them that of walking in my shoes where we can do them together. So both of us are talking about some of these topics. If y'all like him on there, I will share the screen with him in the mornings every now and then, not on a regular basis because you know Carl. And I love him. So I'm going to let y'all go. Y'all have a blessed day. We will see you tonight. Bring your snacks. I got some popcorn all lined up because, you know, I got to have a snack. And we will talk to y'all later. Sarah, I will not forget to email you that one other video that needs to go. Again, thank you so much to Sarah for getting all these videos up. And she is going through and tagging and redoing and re-hashtagging and making them all right so they're all out there for everybody. I'm Stacy. This has been Walking in My Shoes. We are loving my veteran. Have a blessed day. Bye.